Hello, hello, hello. It's Super Sunday. It's Sunday's Best. And this is Nancy Johnson. In case this is the first time you're joining us, someone let me know that you can hear me and see me. And our topic tonight is going to be money and legacy. So I want you to get your pen and paper. I'm going to give you some tips. And as we always do, we're going to review what what we talked about last week. And the weeks are coming around so quickly. But I do want to, hey, Vivian, thank you for jumping on. Hope you had a great Sunday. It's been a cool down Sunday for me. Diane, hello. And Sandra Ellison, hello. So we're going to repeat a little bit of what we talked about last week, and that was procrastination and what it takes to win. So when we talked about procrastination, a lot of you chimed in, and all of us are guilty of this. I know I am. We put off and we put off until we can't put off any longer. Even simple things sometimes we put off, not because we don't know how to do it, but we choose to do something else. All right. So it says procrastination is the act of delaying and putting off a task until the very last minute. And some people say they put off to the last minute because that's when they get their best work done. And that could be true because all of us work differently. Some of us are morning people and some of us are night owls, right, Rima? We don't all come, one size doesn't fit all. So we talked about no matter how well organized or committed you are, chances are you found yourself frittering away hours with trivial pursuits, one thing or the other, or watching TV. And speaking of that, did you know that the average person before the pandemic, before people were working from home, the average person watches 28 hours of TV a week, and the average person does not read one book a year. All right. So it is important what you're watching, because if what you're watching is feeding your soul and spirit and mind and body, and it's helping you to get to where you want to be in life, then that's one thing. So so procrastination and excuses don't excuse, and procrastination doesn't get it done. It just delays getting that thing done. So that's all I'm going to say about last week. But if you want to catch it, you can certainly go back and watch it from last week. But as I started today, thinking about Sunday's best, well, actually, I started thinking during the week. And then something else I thought I needed to add. So that's why I abbreviated what we talked about last week, procrastination. And I want to dive right into what we're going to talk about tonight. Now, I know that you can probably come up with some more words, but during this pandemic, we have all had an opportunity to have a new vocabulary. The word stimulus, hunger, COVID, respirators, unemployment, Pfizer, Moderna, vaccines, racial equality, and the last one is the wealth gap. Now, you could probably think of some others, but those were not words that we were hearing almost repeatedly on every news broadcast or in everything we read. It's something about, one of these words. And I never knew that. Well, I guess I could have imagined that so many people are lacking food to eat. And so many people are lacking just the minimal of care. All right. So Let's start with the wealth gap. What is the wealth gap? What is it? Is it the difference between the have and the have nots? And it certainly doesn't play out like Tyler Perry's show. Um, Either you have it, money, or you don't. Either you have a way to pay your bills or you don't. Um, how can we begin to close the wealth gap? And when I asked myself that question, that added some things to what I wanted to share tonight, and which the latter part we're going to talk about is legacy. Because I thought about it, we're talking about the wealth gap. And if we're going to close the wealth gap, what is our reason? What is our why? And how are we going to begin to do that? The financial gap. What are the moving parts? What's missing in your finances or in most people's finances? Why they go paycheck to paycheck? What are the proper links to connecting the pieces to the puzzle? What do we need to do? We gotta, first of all, we gotta have a wake-up call and realize where we are. Okay, that's the first thing. And then when you're trying to bridge the gap and you're trying to fill in the blanks, what do we use money for? Certainly, all of it shouldn't be used to pay debt. Okay, what should money be used for? If it's not for you, then are you trying to accumulate something to leave to your family? That would be legacy. Now, here are a few money facts. And for those of you, I saw Sandra Bolton just get on. For those of you who are on for the first time, if for some reason Willie Stevenson, thank you for getting on. And if for some reason this video is interrupted, just hang on for a minute. I'll be back on. So, money facts. Money is to be multiplied. That's right. When you're paying it out all the time, it's being subtracted, but money is to be multiplied. Fact number 2 about money: money has energy. It likes to be moved. I listened to one of my coaches, and she's always talking about you got to give money direction, because otherwise it won't know what to do for you. All right. You can't labor your way to wealth. There's not enough hours in the day for you to work hard enough to become wealthy. I don't even think you can work your way to even for all that you would need for your retirement years. So we have to be smart. We have to wake up. Like Teddy Pendergrass says, wake up, everybody. And wake up. And number 4, your money needs responsibility. Give your money a job to do. And your money should actually work harder than you work. So while you're working, while you're sleeping, while you're vacationing, while you're planning, while you're listening to this, your money should be working for you. And if it's not, by the end of this session, I want you to think about what you can do differently to make sure that your money has the right instructions. Money comes and goes, but one of the quickest way to give yourself a raise is to spend less than you make. It's not always about what you make. It's about what you keep and what you do with it. So number 4 is your money needs responsibility. It needs to work harder than you. And number 5, cash must flow. Anything stagnant, anything not moving is dead. So your cash needs to be active. It loves to be moved around. That's how you multiply it. And we were told that we should be fruitful and multiply, correct? All right, so if your money's not flowing, it's not growing. And if it's not growing, it's stagnant. And if it's stagnant, it's dying. So, how can you build a legacy with money that is not growing, that is not multiplying? It's pretty hard to do. I listened to a call, and I know Vivian says she listens while she is working sometimes. But I listened to a call, and I want to read this scripture since we're talking about Sunday's best. Proverb is an excellent book of the Bible for me as far as teaching business principles and morals and just the things that you need to live by. So Proverbs 4:25 and 27 says, keep your eyes straight ahead. We're talking about wake up, everybody. If you're going to make your financial moves, the gate is about to be open and you need to be in position to receive. It says, keep your eyes straight ahead. Ignore all the sideshows and distractions. Watch your step, and the road will stretch out smooth before you. Neither look to the right nor to the left. Okay? So, with that being said, remember the words I said we've been hearing a lot? That has been added to our vocabulary. Believe it or not, even your bad works for your good sometimes. Some people just got more money in their hands through the stimulus package than they've had at any given time other than maybe tax time. And if they were blessed to get the stimulus and the additional funds for their children so that children don't go hungry, that nobody suffers financially during the pandemic, then that is a blessing. But when a blessing is dropped in your lap and you have no plans and you get distracted, you're looking to the left and to the right and you're spending to the left and to the right. This scripture says you need to have your eyes fixed. You need to have focus. You need to know what it is that you need to do so that you don't keep having the same broke occurrence over and over and over again. So we've had a recession, we've had foreclosures, we've had unemployment, and Lord knows with this pandemic, we've had a lot of death. So we need to get focused. We need to get focused. And if you want to hit the bullseye, just go to the word, study the word, and especially Proverbs. It'll tell you, it'll give you principles on how to get wealth. There are more than 500 scriptures in the Bible on faith, but there are over 2,300 scriptures on what I'm talking about right now. Principles of multiplying, and we know it from Matthew, but if you hide what you got under the rock, it's not going to grow, it's not going to multiply, and it's certainly not going to be fruitful. So it's time for a wake-up call. So we're going to talk about how we need to improve our money matters conversations, starting with this conversation tonight. You need to learn the right money moves. You need to learn how to make money, how to master what you make, how to save it, how to invest it, how to grow it, and how to leave a legacy. And remember, legacy isn't only about money, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So for starters, I want to say sometimes we make mistakes financially because we have not been taught. Other times we have been taught, but we want instant gratification. So we just go right on with the foolishness We don't get focused. We don't look to the right. We look to the right, to the left, any place. Where can I spend this money? Okay. But money is not made only for spending. Money is not made only for paying debt. It should enhance your lifestyle. It should cause you to have more security. It should cause you to be able to give to somebody that needs a little help in hand. And it should help you to leave a legacy and to do things in between your dash, the day you're born and the day you die. What you do between your dash does matter. The kind of life that you live, a lot of it depends on, sure, your mind, your health, but a lot of it depends on the options that you can make. And a lot of times, the options that we can or can't make, like the have and the have nots, comes down to whether you have access to money or not. Okay? Not whether you have a job, but whether you have enough money to thrive, not just survive. All right? So here's an example of where we make poor decisions about money. And you get a chance to choose. You can be a have or you can be a have not. You can be a person that wants to start just where you are and say, I've made mistakes in the past. I've misused money. I haven't known exactly what to do with it. But now that I know, I'm going to do better. So when it's typical, when you go to buy a car, the first thing you're thinking is, how much is my car payment going to be? How much is it going to be per month? That is not the first question. That is not the most important question. The question should be, when I'm finished paying for this in 5 years or 7 years, how much would it really have cost me? That's the question. Because a lot of times, the profit that you could be using to invest is tied up in the terms of the car. Now, here's another one that I heard this week, and this one really made sense. So if you have pen and paper, write this down. We all want a sale. So if something costs $900 and it's 10% off, we say, oh, wow, I'm saving $90. All right? Because it's 10% off. And so you pay $810 for it, whether you need it or whether you don't, because it's a sale. It says off. Now, take the same example, but have it on, not off. Off is subtracting, on is multiplication. You got $900 to invest, and I can tell you how you can get a 10% return on that. So, on your return, you're going to have $990. So look at it in the scheme of things. If you're trying to figure out how to close the gap or bring that gap closer together, the wealth gap, look at your 810 because you chose to take advantage of something because it was 10% off. Now, if you needed that thing, great. That $90 would make a difference. But if you could find a way, if I could teach you a way, if you could read sometimes instead of watching the TV and learn a way to have 10% on, and you did that repeatedly, could you see how that could help close the gap? So you got to decide which side of money you want to be on. I was a presenter on a program yesterday, and I shared that at 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old, I didn't know it was called real estate, but I knew I wanted to be on the other side of the door. You see, when we moved to the Gulfstream Apartments, apartment number 5 in Hallandale, Florida, we moved from Carolina to there. The rent man used to come knocking on the door about 10 o'clock every Saturday morning. And rent was only $12 a week, $48 a month. And there were days when we didn't have it. And my mom would say, roll out the jealousy window, hand him the money. She'd count it out before she went off to work on Saturday. And she said, he'll give you a receipt. Well, I was on the receiving end on the other side of the door, passing the money through the little opening, getting the receipt enough times that I said, you know what? When I get big, meaning when I get grown, I want to be the person on the other side of the door. So I want to be the one receiving the money instead of always giving the money. And I didn't know that was called, that rent process was called real estate, but it was. And so that was my first encounter with learning how money can put you can either be on the right side or you can be on the wrong side. So as we talk about the keys to wealth, how do you create wealth? How do you leave a legacy? Because we could have still been living in Gulfstream apartments, and my mom could have never given apartment number 5 to any of her children, because you can't leave what you rent. You can't leave what you don't own. So in this lifetime, between your dash, I would make it my business, if I were you, to own something. And we all start at different stages in life. So don't feel left behind. But if you got ground that you need to make up, you need to make up your mind that now's the time to do that. So I'm going to share a few more things with you before we talk about legacy. And I looked this up, and when I'm talking about wealth, it says, do you want to build wealth, but you don't know where to begin? Building wealth can seem like a tall order. It's hard enough to pay your bills, but plenty of people build their fortunes from humble beginnings. So don't feel bad about where you are. But what I want you to do is, like the scripture says, fix your eyes straight ahead. Don't listen to the naysayers that it can't be done. Be one of the persons that said, now I did it. Now I may be the first one that you've seen do it, but I did it. All right. So don't despise humble beginnings. John D. Rockefeller got his first job as an assistant bookkeeper, making only $16 a month. Today, Rockefeller is recognized as one of the most successful business tycoon in American history. Rockefeller, but you're not Rockefeller, but you can take the right steps to start building wealth. So how do you start? What's your first step? Mindset. I can do this. I can do this. And so when you decide that you're going to do a thing, I say the best thing for me is write it down. I mean, probably everybody on this call can beat me using the computer, but my assistant calls me the yellow pad queen. I can take a yellow note pad, and you may get to it quicker, get to the answer quicker, but I'm going to scratch enough and put enough stuff on that pad that it's going to open my mindset to tell me I can do it. All right. So there are 4 things that they say that you should concentrate on, that they are the essentials. Number 1, stick to your goals. And we're going to talk about how you do that. Number 2, eliminate debt. If you see yourself digging a hole, stop digging. That's one way to get to the top. Stop digging. Number 3, increase your income. So how do you do that? Spend less than you make or cut back. And number 4, start saving. So let's talk about this one first. Stick to your goals, SMART goals. And I know you've heard what a SMART goal is before, but if you want to get on the path to wealth, here's the first thing you do. Have a SMART goal, and the acronym is SMART. The S stands for specific. You should have 3 specific reasons why you want to do something. Why is it for you? What's your why? Your why will make you cry. It will be something that you want to accomplish so bad. It may be for your children, it may be for your grandchildren, it may be just that you want to check it off your bucket list. I got quite a few things I want to check off my bucket list. So be specific, not don't make your goals in generalities when it comes to building wealth. The M stands for measurable. Sure, you want to set big goals, but you want to be realistic. You want to celebrate each little a step of progress that you make. You don't want to be overwhelmed. So that you can be held accountable. The A stands for agreed or accountable. So your SMA, and then your R stands for realistic. As I said before, it becomes easier if it's realistic. If you divide it into smaller pieces, you'll feel yourself moving along. And the T, SMART, the T stands for time frame. You can't say someday I'll, maybe I'll do it. You got to be, you got to set the goal. You got to make time, not find time, make time, because you can't find any more time. You got to make time to get started, and you got to track it. And remember, it's a written goal, but it's okay to adjust it. Everything won't happen just like you planned it. I know that. But it's okay to adjust, but it's not okay to quit. You got to keep on it. You're never going to hit the bullseye. You're never going to hit it if you just talk about it. You know what they say? Talk is cheap, and cheap and poverty is the opposite of wealth. So how are you going to talk yourself to wealth? I know a lot of us have the gift of the gabs, but you got to study before you get in front of people. You got to look up something. You don't know everything. So even mere talk is not going to get you there. So eliminating debt, stop the bleeding by stop adding to your debt. Freeze the credit card. Get the scissors and cut the credit cards up if you have to. Just stop the bleeding. That way you can't spend more than you own, or you can't spend more than you have. Don't just charge it, okay? And you need to have a budget. And what they're suggesting is that in your budget, that you should use a rule called 50-20-30, the 50-20-30 rule. Put 50% of your income towards your fixed expenses, such as your mortgage, your rent, until you can buy, or your car payment. Those are fixed expenses. And if you put 50% of your income toward that, and then you put 20% into your savings, and you put the other 30% toward all your other living expenses, they said that 30% zone is where you have to be honest with yourself and where you really have to stay focused. All right. The number 3, it says climb down the debt ladder. You know how you got up there, and if you want to stay up there, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to get down, listen to some of this sound advice. Get out of debt. How do you do that? Everything, instant gratification gets us into a lot of trouble. Increase your income is one thing. How do you do that? Use some of the gifts that you have. Your gifts will make room for you. The most obvious aspect of wealth creation is increasing your income. There are two forms of income. One is active and one is passive. One is linear. That means you work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. Passive means anybody that receives active income, you usually receive that from a job, from the time the hours work. Passive income is that income that's usually derived from being enterprising. The person who has rental property and receives money, they leverage their time because they do it one time, and then the person pays month after month after month. So I'm going to share a little bit about that one. And the other one was, let's see, if you on it. Okay, I'm back. Um, we, I think here's where we were. We were talking about passive income. Passive income is when you do something one time and you get paid over and over and over. So on part two, I'm going to tell you how the quickest way that I know to do passive income. Um, if somebody is there, please let me know that you're here. Okay, if somebody can hear me, please let me know. We were talking about passive income, and this is part two. Passive income is actually the best example I can give you as a real estate agent is if you can hear me, please type in I can hear you or I can see you. If you own a piece of property and your mortgage payment is $500, okay, and you rent that property for $800, the money, the difference between the 500 and the 800 is $300 that comes to you passive every single month. So if you have that $300 coming in, thank you, Gloria. If you have that $300 coming in every month, at the end of the year, that's $3,600. Who loves you enough, other than a tenant, to give you consistently $300, actually $800, and then you profit the 300. And of course, I'm just giving you this as an example because your 500 could include to your mortgage company, could include your taxes and your insurance. And in that case, you got $300 coming in to get out of debt or to have an emergency fund or to invest. And if that tenant stays there 5 years, they're putting $18,000 into your account. And if they do nothing to prepare to buy, remember, people make choices. If you stay in that apartment that's costing you $800 a month for 10 years, you as the investor making passive income have made $36,000 in passive income. So that's how you either linear income or passive income. The last one is start saving. Every penny counts. So count every penny. Every penny counts. So count every penny. And what they say there is make your own coffee instead of going to Starbucks. Take your lunch, brown bag your way to green. You know, we used to have brown bags. I mean, you could do probably, you know, you have a container or something. Or if you are working from home, that is a great way to start having more money come in so that you can pay, you know, pay down some debt. And take advantage, lastly, take advantage of any money matching opportunities that you have on the job. And as I kind of round this down, an example was given this week. When your children's sneakers and cell phone cost more than you pay for rent, it's time for a wake-up call. And remember, we started out saying if we're gonna close the gap, there are little things that we have to do consistently. The kids don't make the money, so they don't get to make the rules. And until they start making the money and paying the bills, they don't have a say in the matter. And I know we all want our children to be better off than we were, but don't cripple them. We all do some things sometimes that we probably would be better off not doing. And so lastly, the last 5 minutes, y'all hang in there. And I see that some more of you have gotten back on. It says the best way to prepare to leave a legacy. And remember, a legacy isn't just about money. A legacy isn't just about money. But if you want to carry something forward, then there are different ways you can do it. Number one, they said invest in stock. I can't tell you a thing about that. You have to check with somebody else. Number two, invest in real estate. I can tell you just about everything you want to know about that one. Number three, build a business so that you can pass it down. That's a great legacy. Build a business. Number four, take advantage of any life insurance opportunities you have. You know, it is so important. We don't want to think about death, but in this pandemic, it has happened to so many people, and so many people were caught off guard. And so make sure that you're properly insured. Number five, invest in your child's education. If you want your children to, you know, to grow up and be successful, yes, it does take education. But remember, not everybody is going to go to college. Some people are going to build a business. Some people are going to run a big business. And so we all have gifts, and our gifts are not just to work for somebody else. We should be able to use those. DRIP programs and stocks are great, says Gloria Moore. See, when we put our minds together and we share and collaborate rather than compete, we get a lot of information. And so number six, and I really do believe in this one, teach your children about finances, about personal finances early. Leaving a financial legacy consists of three things: leaving wealth behind to serve as a foundation on which your, you know, your children or your grandchildren or whomever you're leaving it for, so that they can build a future. That's what leaving a legacy is. Leaving a legacy can be about leaving knowledge. that your children understand how to play the game of money and win, how to be on the right side of money. That's a legacy. If you don't have a lot to leave them other than the knowledge of just what I just said, legacy is about inheritance. And inheritance can be about more than just money. So make sure that you review this information tonight. And the greatest legacy that you can pass on to your children, to your grandchildren, is not just money, nor material things, but it could be how to be a good person, how to respect other people, how to treat people the way that you'd want to be treated. And lastly, we're talking about wealth. The Bible speaks of wealth. We're not in lack. God wants us to be prosperous, but Lord knows more fights are started about money after a person dies than anything else. So, if you want to leave a legacy, make it plain. Make sure you have a will. Make sure you have what you want done. At the end, make sure that what you want done is actually taken care of. So, have a good night. Have a good week. Have a good life. In fact, have $1,000,000 life. And I hope that you get to listen to both parts of this session. I can't tell you why some days it goes perfect and other days it doesn't, but we've had them to come over and check our internet. But either way, the last thing I want to remind you of is share, share, share. This is my 35th work anniversary. I'm giving away $35 every single day. A mortgage tomorrow, we'll be giving away 2 gift cards from one of the mortgage companies that a lot of you have gotten your loans through. It's just a gift. And I'm hoping that you will share, share, share. So share this video on your page, share Instagram, share anything that I post this week, and especially the testimonies that are posted, as well as the billboard ads. And several people on this call have been multiple winners. The winners from last night were Genevieve Burgess, Sandra Ellison, Jennifer Smith, and Sandra Bolton. So we're going to have some winners from tonight. So you got to play to win and you got to share. You can't be selfish. This is some good information. I want you to share it with somebody. Have a good night. I'm finished. I got kicked off again. I had to go back and finish. Yep. I'm gonna ask Anton, does that ever happen to him?